Welcome to the second part of exploring the settings on your iPad. We're going to start with the sounds option. One thing to note about the iPad is it will understand sounds in two ways. One is the ringer and alert. The other is the actual volume. Now this will be important because if a student is trying to control the volume or the ringer or the alert, it will be important to note that if you have a switch underneath the volume control at the very top turned off, the only thing that the volume buttons will do will be to control the volume of the device. If that is turned on, it will actually control the ringer and alert volume until an app is engaged that has volume. For instance, if I have set up for my students in iTunes U to watch a video that I have prepared and they need to adjust the volume, they will use the volume control, but the volume control will not engage until the video begins. If that is turned on, change with buttons, the only thing that will be controlling is their ringer and alert volume level. If that is turned off, I actually have to come into my settings and go under sounds to make that change for ringers and alerts. You can also change for your students if they are going to be sending a new mail, what that noise will be when they send it. So for instance, if I have a student who's in my class and they need to turn something in via email, I can actually turn that noise off by going to Sent Mail and turning it to none. If I send an email to my students during class and I don't want that noise to continue, I can actually have them go into new mail and turn that to none so that every time they receive a new mail, I'm not hearing that noise. The last thing that's on this at the bottom is keyboard clicks. Some people prefer to hear the click because they know they've touched the key. Other people do not prefer to hear the click because it becomes an annoyance to them. You can have them turn that sound off in the sound settings. The next one is passcode. Students are not permitted and will not be able to put a passcode on their device, but in the instance that you would have to borrow one as a staff member or use one as a staff member for a specialized program or something like that and you want to, you can enter a passcode on the iPad if that is something that would be necessary. Privacy is below the battery option, and we want to make sure the location services is on, which it will be. But the other thing that's important here is microphone, camera, and photos. We want to make sure that if a student is trying to access these within an app and it says that they cannot, that we can take them into privacy and they can allow access. For instance, if I'm creating something in Pages and I want to access the camera, I have to allow the app to use the camera. If I accidentally push don't allow, I can choose camera and then turn it on for that app so that it is usable. As we skip over several of these things, we're going to look at the notes option. One of the most important things is at the bottom. On my iPad account, if that is turned on, will allow a student to actually save the note to their device. If it is not saved to the device, it will be saved to iCloud or Exchange, whichever one is set for that note. If this is turned on, any note that is created underneath the On My iPad account will stay on the iPad and is not reliant upon the network. If I create a note in my Exchange account and my email is down or the server is down, I will not see the notes I've created. So this is just a good rule of thumb to have that turned on and make sure that they can save to their iPad. The next is reminders. If you want to have your students use these, you can sync these up to 1 month back or maybe a little more if you need to, a little less. The other thing is set a default list where if you create a reminder, which one it will actually go to. If you look at maps, the important thing here is your distances. So if I'm doing a science lesson or a math lesson or exploring what the difference is there, I can look at miles or kilometers. And this will allow me to change and understand the differences and how they work and actually maybe get a visual of what a kilometer looks like as opposed to a mile. Safari has several options, including the search engine, which one you want to choose. So you have Google, Yahoo, Bing, and DuckDuckGo are your options there. You can set Safari suggestions. You can also change your autofill options at the bottom here, show your tab bar. Block pop-ups is important because if it is turned off, the map test will function properly. If you're administering the map test and block pop-ups is turned on, it will not go through the test. The other thing that is important here is your clear history and website data. Every once in a while, it's good to go in and push that so that Safari can clear out and things can be cleaned. Finally, news. You can have news set up so that the student can choose which types of nonfiction news to be sent through, and you can turn on your notifications here if you would like to. And if you have background app refresh turned on, that means while the app is running in the background, it will refresh the stories that it has showing up. Thank you for watching this video. Please view our other modules on the WCPS Professional Learning site.